One of the reasons that I feel like grief is so misunderstood is because it's so hard to show the full picture in movies or books or shows or anything like that. And it's also often used as just like a turning point of like, this is why this person did this, is because they experienced loss, but it doesn't really dive into it. Or they just show like the heartbreak and the instant pain and the not getting out of bed and just that kind of pain, which I think also just scares people, right? Because it seems like it's an impossible feat. Something that I started doing was just like writing a story about grief, like a fictional story. I've always just kind of pictured it as like almost like Sex in the City, but like with grief and different, but like kind of that premise of just like being in the city, figuring out grief, figuring out that story. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, but I've actually been having so much fun writing it. And something that I did was make my sister's name the main character. And something so freeing about writing my sister's name so many times and saying it out loud, because I kept like rereading to myself, right, the story. And that's the most that I've just like said her name, written her name in forever. And there was something just so like healing in that process itself. And I don't know what I'm gonna do with this. I don't know exactly what the end goal is with this, but I'm just having fun. Even if it's just like a free writing exercise, it's like a good use of my creativity. It's a good use of like not being on my phone. And it's just something about like having fun writing a story that like has romance, has heartbreak, and clearly depicts grief and how it just plays out in your life throughout the years as like you're figuring out. Because the true reality of grief is that like every day I'm figuring it out. Every day I'm trying to give myself inspiration for the next day and the next day. And like to see that there's a world that can be exciting and interesting and like worthwhile and feel even remotely as good as it did when my parents and my sister were here. Creating a fictional story that like mirrors a lot of my own journey also is healing, but it's also just really fun. So I don't know what I'm doing with it, but I plan to share it in some way because I do think it's helpful for people to like see grief play out in story, but in a very real way, but also just like that not being the only thing, but something that just like stays a constant, because I don't think that is done effectively very much. It's like a main theme in your life, no matter what you do, no matter what you're doing. I hope it's something that like helps people no matter in which way I share it, whether that's like on Substack or whatever. That's something that I'm doing. Anyway, making my sister's name like the main character has been so much fun.